This episode of the IC Lounge is sponsored in part by the Choice Companies, a benefits and financial choices company, helping companies navigate the ever-changing healthcare industry by choosing the benefits plan that meets their needs. For more information, visit BennyChoiceCompanies.com. And the Iser family, supporting work that promotes a more inclusive community. Siraj Family Homes believes in stability, safety, and permanency for all children. To learn about our programs, training opportunities, and services for prospective foster or adoptive parents, call 334-271-2402 or visit sirajfh.com. Want to transform your workplace environment? Imperial Consulting Services Group collaborates with organizations of any size to build diverse, inclusive, tech-driven workplaces through fostering responsible leadership and cultivating engaged employees. We offer DEI and belonging consulting and training, strategic planning, and professional, organizational, and design services. Put our proven strategies to work for you. Schedule your appointment today at imperialcsg.com.
Welcome to another episode of the IC Lounge, a podcast that embraces the diversity of conversation. I am your host, Angela Washington, owner and founder of Imperial Consulting Services Group. Today's episode concludes the three-part series on colorism, shades of identity, unveiling colorism's impact on society. And today we will discuss with men who are either in an interracial relationship or choose to date or marry a partner within their racial group. How much, if any, skin color or other cultural preferences influence their choice of romantic partners? Only 56 years ago, the United States did not allow interracial relationships, let alone marriages. In the last half century, the numbers and trends have changed exponentially. Research says, as stated in the Economic Times, studies say that men are subconsciously attracted to fair skin due to purity, innocence, modesty, and goodness, while women feel that darker complexions are associated with manliness and mysterious. Also, according to researchers, many judgments about beauty are made at a conscious level, such as about leg length, height, weight, and the shape of the nose, as well as the mouth. In contrast, other physical attractiveness ideals, including complexion, are made at the subconscious level. So let's get right into it. That was a lot. Joining us today is Jimbo.
How you doing?
Hi. Jimbo Chappelle.
Chapel. Chappelle's the rich version.
Chapel. Okay, minus the two P's. Okay. Brother Philip Howard.
How you doing?
Hi. Edward Sims.
How you doing?
Very good. So I'm going to allow these gentlemen to introduce themselves. And also, gentlemen, if you guys would share some qualities or traits that you find important when choosing a partner. We're going to start with Edward Sims over here.
All right. One of the things that I think is important, especially with our community, is
introduce us.
Oh.
Tell us about you. You ready to get into it and behave, okay?
Okay. All right. My name is Edward Sims. I'm an educator. Okay. Been doing it for 20 plus years. Mm-hmm. Married, kids, set of twins, 24. I have a son, 20, and my youngest son is 17 at Park Crossing. So he would be invited to the game this year, plays basketball.
I love it.
Yeah. I love spending time with my kids. One of the things that I grew up with, my dynamic, was that we were a village, so somebody was always with us to try to educate us and keep us in line. So I'm just a family person at this point. I'd rather be home barbecuing with the family rather than traveling somewhere.
Okay.
Yeah.
So tell us about these traits that you look for.
All right. I think one of the biggest things is effective communication. Mm-hmm. And one thing I tell my family, whether my students or whomever, is if I speak English and I'm talking to somebody who speaks Spanish, we're communicating and we're asking each other questions, but it never gets answered because it's not effective. Mm-hmm. And so I think we need to be effectively listening and communicating and stating what it is and make sure we don't blur the lines a lot of times. But our partner has to be an effective listener and be able to receive constructive criticism because I know I coach, and I think the rich version, Chappelle, he coaches. And when we're coaching kids and we're educating kids, even when we're raising them, we're giving them criticism, but it's constructive because it's a bigger goal in mind, not what's going on now, but it's something that they can't even see. And so we have to be able to accept it and understand that we have flaws, but if nobody never addresses with us, especially our loved ones, then how can we improve upon it? And so I know my wife and I the other day, I asked her about the bills, and she got upset. And she thought I was confronting her when I was just asking, but it was ineffective, and you can tell it was tension. But I was just like, no, I was just asking. I didn't mean nothing by it. But that's why I always like to come back and say, let's have this discussion, because the intent may seem like it's there, but it's not. And that's why you have to be effective communicator and be willing to come back and talk about it later.
And viewers and followers, just for the record, he's married to a African-American woman like myself.
Well, half. She's Samoan.
And see, he forgot that. What's your wife's name?
Melanie.
Melanie, get him when he gets home.
She probably will.
Okay. Brother Howard.
My name is Philip Howard. I'm a truck driver. My wife is biracial. She's half black, half white. I have 2 kids. One son just graduated from Lee High School, and then I have a 7-year-old little girl.
A ball of energy.
Yeah, ball of energy. And I just like, being a family guy and, being around my family and trying to be there for them and trying to be a good husband and a good father, what we need more in the community these days. So
tell me some traits that you find important when choosing a partner.
Well,
and I know you guys are more mature now, so what you thought then will vary.
Yeah.
But
this topic is very diverse because everybody have their own preference when it comes to choosing a spouse, mate, or significant other. But I feel like the energy and the chemistry that somebody bring to you, I feel like that's the most important thing when it comes to choosing your significant other. And it ain't really about the color, because I don't see color. I wasn't brought up like that. My background, my characteristics is not just the color. Now, back in the day, I don't know if for some kind of reason I had really liked it, like lighter skinned women. But that wasn't the reason why I chose my wife. Like when we met, I knew she was mixed with something, but I didn't know that wasn't the reason. Like I didn't know 20 years from now that we're gonna be married.
Get it from a mom.
But I didn't know that 20 years from now that she was gonna be my wife. I wasn't, talking to her. I was just liking what. And like I said, she got the chemistry and the energy, and she bring good vibes to me, and that's what at the end of the day, that what matter. So I feel like that is the whole thing of when you try to pick your significant other.
I like that. Brother Chappell.
Yes, my name is Jim Chappell. I'm married to an African American. We've been married 7 years. Just welcomed a baby girl home 3 days ago, fresh out the hospital. So, hearing these guys talk about being a family man, that's something that I want to strive to be. I mean, I'm still fresh, no sleep. I mean, but just hearing them say that how they want to be with their family, that is something I want to strive to be. Like later on, I am an educator here in Montgomery, so around kids all the time. But what made me choose my partner, I think it was like I said, communication, vibes. I think everything that has been stated is a big thing. Personality, I was big into personality. I'm a lot to handle sometimes. I can be, I don't want to say I'm a diva. My wife will say I'm dramatic, but I can be. But just personality, energy. I mean, goals was a big thing. Can we build together? I've watched my wife growing her career. When we first met, it was merely something that she was speaking of, and now to see where she's at now is amazing to see. So I think her goals, yeah. So I mean, everything that's been stated is something that we could all say. And like he stated, I really didn't look at color. It's never been a thing with me. I think I've dated more African Americans than I've dated white women.
Gotcha.
So
Okay.
it's just been something that's. So I mean, like everything's been stated, I think I went last, but you know, we're all on one accord up here.
I like it. These mature answers of you guys. Now, if I asked you 20 years ago, it would be very different. But
20 years ago, I'd be 13, so.
Yeah, but okay. But however, I appreciate these mature answers. So our first question, have you ever felt pressure from cultural or society expectations regarding the appearance of your romantic partner? Don't be shy.
I think yes. I mean, you know, you see, my parents weren't so into it, but you have family members, you know, they use the red birds are with red birds, blue birds are with blue birds relationship type thing. So you feel that a little bit, but I mean, you just you tend to ignore it as you go on. Once you know, you just want to be around genuine people. So, but yeah, you do feel a little pressure as far as the culture thing or family or stuff like that. So.
Okay. Anybody
else? I never felt pressured. In high school, the school we went to, it was half and half. I just never dated anybody outside my race at the time. But I can say that in a way I may have gotten a green light because, you know, your mom, them old school things, they go, you know, white girl go do this and do that, all those stereotypes. But I remember she went to Northern Iowa for school later on, and they treated her well. And I guess it opened her eyes. And when I went there, the first thing she was saying was, "Hey, I have somebody I can hook you up with." And I was like, "Okay." And then it was a white lady. And I was kind of shocked. And so it kind of changed my whole direction. So I never had pressure, but I guess I became more open, seeing that my mom and my family became more open. So it's just through experience. Yeah.
Well, let me bring this out. Terrell Owens, T.O., he did a podcast, the Ocho Cinco and Dukes podcast, hosted by Chad Ocho Cinco and Jamie Dukes. And he talked about his preference of how colorism affected his choosing of white women. Okay. And he said that it was based off of the fact that none of the sisters would give him a time of day when he was growing up. And he said also he didn't have the pearly whites he has now, and he was quite scrawny back in high school. And he said, so it's not that he disliked black women, it's just that they didn't find him attractive or they wouldn't give him the attention. They dismissed him, but the white women gave him the attention and showed him preference. You know, they preferred him or expressed their interest in him, so to speak. And so I think in a way, and you have to listen to the podcast or the show, but it went on to say how that's just what started his relationship pattern with white women. So, and he's getting, you know, kind of slandered for his choice, but I'm a black woman, but I know we can be a bit much at times, but however, that's his personal choice of what he chose. So what do y'all think about that, you know?
I have a funny story. So 6th grade lunchroom, we're sitting at the lunch table. Girls are going around judging the boys, of course. So it got to me, and the white girls called me ugly, but it was a African-American girl, she called me cute, and it kind of like was,
They started looking differently.
Yeah. So I was like, okay. So, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily saying that was all I was looking for, African-American or white, but it definitely, hey, I could see where it where it could come into play as somebody goes
Whoever
about
seems
their
to be
life.
most attracted to you.
Yeah.
I actually agree with Tio because that's his experience. And so I talk about that a lot because I have a coworker I always joke with and say, I'm gonna marry a white woman, I'm getting tired. And so I say it all the time, I say, oh no, but everybody has a different experience.
Right.
And when she talks about how she grew up in Montgomery, because I grew up in New Orleans, so it was completely different.
Oh, that's a melting pot.
Yeah, it is. And so she talked about the experiences that she had and also her parents. But that was her experience. But I also said you can't put your experience on everybody else because where I grew up in New Orleans, nobody cared who you dated. So at the same time, you're taking your experience and putting it all onto everybody you see. Also, when you go to different states, because that's really a southern thing. And just a quick story. I remember I was in Orlando. We was on a trip with school or whatever, and there was a group of us. And so one of the ladies who was white asked me to walk into the bathroom, and I'm like, okay, we're fine. And as she's in there, I'm just standing there, and two black girls come in and say, "We're not good enough for you." So I'm looking at them huh? But it's like all of a sudden, I don't even know who they are. And then, I was kind of like, and when she was saying how she could feel the racial tension, even though she's from up north, it's almost like it's only something that's down south that's more prevalent. And so to me, it's all about your experience. I never experienced what other people did, but for me having children, I always tell them love who you love because that's who you got to live with, not me. So to me, I think it's overblown a lot of times because why would I be mad who somebody married if I don't even know who they are? It doesn't even matter to me because they're not in my circle.
That's true. Did you have anything you want to contribute?
Yeah, I was just saying, I don't see what's the big deal, why they feel like, what's the big issue? Because he married who he want to marry.
Or date who you
And
want.
maybe they date who he wants. So I never seen what's the big deal about it anyway, and why they blowed it up so much about it. At the end of the day, we got to, as people and as Americans, we got to get away from just looking at color. And that's the problem. Everybody always judging people about their skin and their complexion or what you see. And we got to get away from that and just think if people weren't judging and thinking about stuff like that, it wouldn't even been a big deal on the topic about him. So in the end of the day, it's everybody's preference. It's a preference thing.
But I appreciate the conversation because it lines up with what we're doing right here today. It came out not quite a week ago, and he's someone of influence. Tio is. And of course, Ocho Cinco as well. And to have them talk about the same thing that we're talking about today, it is sad, but it's much needed so people can learn. I think it's a lot of it has to do with ignorance, people just not knowing, their lack of knowledge or understanding. And if we keep bringing that awareness, I think it'll break down some of those barriers that people have. Like you said, if it wasn't for your mom, you probably wouldn't have really, it probably just been for fun for you without you bringing them home. You know what I'm saying? If you date them. So you said that, but you don't realize she had influence over your thoughts on that to a degree for her to bring you saying, hey, here you go, somebody outside of your race,
Yeah, it caught me off guard. But
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
and
I
how
agree.
often you find that in our community?
Not often.
That's what I'm saying.
But I agree with him because he said it doesn't matter because I say this all the time and I have kids, date who you want to date. And just been in education, we see these different things that's coming before it hits the general public. But I was telling my same coworker, LeBron's son went to the prom with a white girl and we crucified him, but Dwayne Wade on there with a young white male and we congratulating him. It's like, what's the difference? Because if you're still looking, forget about the gender, they were still black and white. But one we congratulate and say, we're so proud of you. And the other one we're saying, look at him, he's a sellout. So to me, it's just all overblown.
That's big. I agree. Well, let me ask you this. Can you recall a time when your choice of partner was influenced by factors like your family, friends? Did you all did your family kind of influence somebody you brought home, or it just didn't matter? You brought them home regardless.
Well, And I never had no problem like that because, like I said, go back to what I said, the family that I got and the ethnic background that I came from is like we was taught up not to judge and judge a skin complexion. Mm-hmm. So I would never had that problem anyway of who I brought home because my parents, you know, they was gonna like, if I loved them and I liked them, guess what? They was gonna accept them and love them too.
Exactly.
So.
Well, I was a renegade, whether they liked them or not.
Yeah, I'm on the same page with him. It didn't matter to me. Hey, you like them, you don't. Hey, oh well.
I had an aunt say, you should have never got married. I tell her. I said, well, you should have never got married to him. So now we're even. So it was like.
So let me ask you this. Have you all ever had conversations with other men about the influence of skin color on partner selection? And if so, what were those conversations like? Have you all ever had that kind of combo with other men about other colors or whatever? Because y'all playing it kind of safe today. I was looking for y'all to be like really juicy, give it to me, lay it out down the line, like, you know.
Oh, you didn't say that.
Yeah, I don't have to say it. I want y'all personalities to shine through. Jimbo, you have a big personality. Statue Sims, we know you. Philip, we kind of, you know, we going to pull you out. So talk to me. I know guys talk. Women want to know. Ladies, we want to know. What do the men say? What do y'all think about this stuff? You know, talk to us.
Okay. We'll say it's okay to date somebody outside your race. You better be a bad one, though.
See, that's what I'm saying. Y'all gave those safe answers in the beginning.
See, I have a different preference. I don't care if you're purple or got a third eye. I just got a different preference.
Okay, well, go ahead. Continue on.
You just got to have a big old butt. So at the end of the day, hey, if she white, she got a big old, hey, she good. If she Hispanic.
I'm so weak. Yeah. Your poor wife.
Yeah, so she knows that. But, you know, hey, that's just my preference. That's what we talk about. Like, if you did outside your race, it better be a
bad one.
Yeah, because I said, the women in my family, they might be like, look at her, just, you know, tooting her nose. But my uncles be like, you got one. So, you know, they kind of give you that nod, like, hey, you got one. So
right.
I'm just looking for, you know, thighs and butt. If you got it, hey, we'll work on everything else.
Oh, my God. What about you, Sophia? What you got to say? You don't want to say anything, do you?
Yeah, no, it's just when it comes to that, you know, back in the day, you know, people like you ain't, you know, outside your race or Caucasian, you be like, well, she got a butt like a black woman. You know what I'm saying? But you know, they compare that now to they used to compare that to black women about butts or whatever. And so, you know.
Mm-hmm. And you know our sister's gonna tell you why not just date a black woman so you can keep your apple. You know.
Too much behind it. Mm-mm.
Okay, Jimbo, see, you love us. Come through.
I think my friends, they'd always say, I want to get a white woman. Tell me what it's like. And I'd be like, hey, you tell me what it's like. I don't know. I mean, it's a conversation we have, but I mean, it's here and there. It's not. It used to be heavy, I think, when we were younger, but now, it don't matter. I mean, it don't matter. It's not a big deal to my friend group, you know.
It's a big deal to me, though.
We know it's a big deal to you. Oh, Lord. So y'all kind of touched on that. Do you believe, so basically you will agree that your attitude or thought process to color or even baddies, hasn't it evolved any over the years from young up to now? Would you say it has evolved?
Yeah. I guess when I was talking about my mom, I guess she had an influence because I was still younger at the time. Mm-hmm. But once I became my own self into manhood, I realized it doesn't matter what anybody thinks.
So you think having a family kind of shaped some of that too, like your kids and stuff like that kind of plays, or just experiences? I mean, like what is that? What does it look like?
I would say because of education, being a teacher, just being around kids, And sometimes when we're telling our kids not to do something, not to love who they love and things like that, we get to see the emotional part that you don't see at home. And they start that they tend to act out and they feel like they got to hide who they are. And that's one of the things that when something happened because the mother didn't want to accept what was going on, the child felt like they had to hide it. The fact that they actually took their life at that time and had a suicide note and blamed the mom specifically, that kind of hit me to think that at this point, you got to let people be people. And so what I tell my kids all the time, don't hide nothing from me, don't lie to me. If you can accept it, I can accept it. And at the end of the day, be you. You know, so, you know, you just got to be who you are. You know, but even with my sons, you know, make sure that she, you know, but other than that, love who you love. But, you know, your mom she may grade them a little differently,
right.
but I'm grading them on a different curve. So
you know, bless it.
Yeah.
Right. Any other comments? You guys have anything I want to add to that?
Right. I mean, I think he said being in education, you do see kids though when they're not accepted at home, they're not accepted in society. They tend to act, you know, they do tend to act up, and they're not themselves. And they come to school, and that might be the only place where they can truly be themselves. And like he said, the suicide, it's scary when you see kids. They're scared to go home because they're not accepted. You know, no matter black, white, homosexual, whatever you say you are, pronoun, or you know, that's the thing that it's scary, because you do see kids on a daily basis in education that they come to school and they can be who they want to be. Like kids go in the bathroom and change clothes. I know we see that on movies, but that really happens.
Yeah,
you know, they can show their personality at school and then go home and kind of bottle it back in, and you do have the problems. They don't, you know, that's when they tend to act out. So, I mean, it's.
And I would say with T.O., that happens a lot in our community. Like we look at somebody and we say, and I've seen it, and that's why I always say I've seen these athletes, these big 6'4", 300-pound young men, and you got to realize when you're that age, your hygiene not all the way together, you know, all different things, acne. Some of them just look old, and their peers don't accept them. And then they go on to like get a scholarship. They go to Alabama, Auburn. And then the first thing I say is the campus is 92% white. Who you think they go date? And then on top of that, you was in school and you asking, you know, the black girl, hey, what's the answer? She said, get it from your mama. But then you go up here, they taking care of you, they help you, they stand on you. So and that's why I tell them it's not about the color, it's about you're so insulted as a woman thinking that I'm a black woman. He married a white woman, when I said, you so worried about the outside that he saw a lot of qualities that you have and that she displayed. So it was about the qualities of that woman and how your mother was doing these things, and he see that in her. It's just a different paint job. And so at the end of the day, if we stuck on color, instead of saying, who is this person? Because I asked the lady, I said, you rather your son date a white woman who has those personalities like you and distribute those wifely and motherly qualities, or you want it with somebody from the hood who's black, but you know, she's still black? And I say at that point, you got to realize who is best for your son and what personality match, or your daughter, and make sure that they're happy. And if they love them, hey, move on with your life and just say, hey, congratulations.
He brings up a good point. Like, I'll be out with my wife and an African-American woman will walk by and be like, ooh, you got you one, talking to my wife, talking about me. But I got friends who are dating with white women, and they look at them and like, oh, you a sellout. And so, I mean, it's basically what he touched on. It's I don't know. I can't wrap my mind around it, but it's cool to do one thing, but it's not cool to do this. It's almost like he said earlier, LeBron's son went to prom with a white girl, and they crucified. I mean, it was everywhere on Instagram and Facebook, TMZ, and then Dwayne Wade's son, you know, chose or daughter or whatever chose that, and they congratulated. I mean, it's society.
And I think some of it is just the perception. Because I have a coworker, her son dates a white woman, but they say that we treat white women better than we do black women. But the thing about it is the mother always says, you need to do this. Like she's going over and beyond because she understands that it's almost like we can't treat her. So that sometimes the parents are the ones that's really doing that, say, hey, you got to go over and beyond. But when he was dating a black girl, they kind of stayed out of it. But and we understand the dynamics. But he's doing more because the mom is pressuring him to do, not pressuring, but more so guiding him to say, hey, you got to do this. You can't, because she'll say, you bought this. No, we don't want to buy that. We got to buy this. So
they say white women are more submissive.
Yeah. I thought so.
You thought so?
Yeah. I don't know. It seems like, I don't know if the word is submissive, but they're more, well, submissive.
Yeah,
We'll say submissive.
I don't know how you can dress that up.
Yeah, because
Call it what it is.
yeah, I think to me, the women are taught to be independent instead of self-sufficient, and to me, it's a difference. Independent means I don't need you. I can do this. I can do it all on my own. But self-sufficient means I have the ability to do it on my own, but I want you as a partner to work with me so we can build together.
So that's the difference between us and white women, you saying?
In some cases, yeah. In some cases, from what I've experienced, it's just a battle.
Oh, okay.
It is.
What you got?
I piggyback on both of them on what they had both good points, and it ain't like you said earlier. It ain't about the color. It's about how you being treated, and the energy and the chemistry that you bring. Because they always say you dead outside your race. Like, yeah, but you got some, other races. They treat us better than what our women to treat us. But see, people don't see that though. But it's not all about that. It's about how they, like I said, how they treat us. It's not about the color, and that's the whole point.
So do you think y'all men treat your black women fair?
We put our families in certain positions. A lot of us working overtime, 2-3 jobs. And one of the things that I always tell black women is, like they say, we work too much. I say, a man is not going to show love by what you think he's going to show love. A man shows love by sacrificing his time so that his family can have. So whereas I'm at work, but you at the game with my son, but I'm at work, that way you don't have to worry about how you go pay for this and how you go pay for that. Because when I grew up playing sports, I didn't have any money. So everywhere we went, I was like, man, I ain't got no money. And I always say I never wanted that for my family. So growing up in New Orleans, I'm scared to be broke. I'm scared of poverty. So if somebody say you work too much, I'm gonna keep on working because I'm scared of it. But we're all married. We all, take care of our families, and we have the same common problem. And it's like we want to be treated a certain way, but then if we say, hey, you don't cook, then they say you want to be barefoot and pregnant in the kitchen. No, we just want you to cook. Like we want some spaghetti. We don't want slaves. So we always say that you ask for this type of man, right? But then when you get it, you move the goalposts. Because even my wife got mad because I don't wash dishes, right? I said, well, I'm just not, because I got kids that know I'm not doing that. And then she was saying she got upset. I said, when you was praying for a good man, you should have prayed for a dishwasher too. So at the same time, you got this, but now you worry about the small things. And so it's a difference, big difference.
Gotcha. Well, as we bring it to a close on the IC Lounge. So Jimbo, I have a question for you. Being that you are married to an African-American woman, have you experienced any of these things that these brothers are saying? That strong will, that headstrong, that just all the characteristics that makes us who we are. The great beings that we are.
Yes, but I mean, I like it. I love it. That's one of the things that attracted me to my wife. I actually met my wife in 8th grade, but we didn't date until almost 15 years later. Don't quote me on that. I know she'll get mad if I don't know the year, but she rejected me every day for almost a year, because I was like, and when she first did it, it caught me by surprise, because I thought I was somebody that had an ego, and when she was like, no, she wasn't responding, that made the chase like, all right, I'm gonna get you now, watch. So I mean, you experience it. She is independent in some ways, which I love. I want her to be her own person at the end of the day. Like I said, I've watched her grow in her career So I want her to be the person God made her to be. I want her to. So if hey, you got it, hey, all right, I'll be behind you, celebrating you. I think that's what our relationship is built on, celebrating each other. So I mean, you do see it. I mean, if I don't do something correct around the house, she does have a smart mouth. Yeah. So
are you referring to all women have smart mouths, or just her as a sister?
I'm referring.
Because you're talking to her after.
I'm referring to her as Brittany.
Okay.
I've experienced her. I mean, she does have I guess this goes back to the independent stage where she can get feisty, but I love it. That's something I like. But,
you hear that, Brittany? He wants more of it.
No, don't please don't.
Especially with the new one.
No, not right now.
With a new baby,
not right
you
now.
gonna
I'm sleeping.
catch
I'm
it.
tired. Yes, already. But I mean, you do experience it, but I mean, I think it's. I always say I saw my parents. They were together, white, and my mama used to give my daddy fits too. So
good.
I think I saw it growing up. So, and two, she came from a 2-parent household too.
Okay.
So I mean, I think it's just part of the relationship. So when I get in trouble for not doing something, and she's going off of me, I'm like, hey, this is part of the relationship. It's part of it.
Gotcha. Thank you to our followers and listeners all over for taking this journey with me as we explored this quite sensitive topic. There is still so much work to be done to champion acceptance. If you have a story to share, send us an email at info@icdiversity.com or through our website at imperialcsg.com. Contact us. Join us again for another thought-provoking episode of the IC Lounge. Remember, every shade has a story. Have a good one.
Promotional consideration is provided by the following sponsors: Layla Ghoston Realty, KW Montgomery, Evening Out Formal Wear, and Andre Reed and Associates.